O.P. Rawat, sir, former Chief Election Commissioner of India. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today. Your presence enriches this session and we eagerly look forward to your insights. Sir has been the 22nd Chief Election Commissioner of India. Sir took charge of the position on 23rd January 2018 and was appointed as the Chief Election Commissioner after the retirement of Shri Kumar sir. Sir is a 1977 batch IS officer and also served as India's Public Enterprise Secretary. Sir had been earlier serving as one of the 2 election commissioners of India. Sir was born on 2nd December 1953 and did his MSc in physics from Banaras Hindu University. Later on, Sir has also obtained a master's degree from the UK in social development planning. In his career, Sir has occupied a number of government positions. Sir has served as a collector in Narsinghpur from 1983 to 86 and collector Indore from 1986 to 1988. In 1994, Sir held the position of United Nations Election Observer in South Africa. After Sir's return from Delhi, Sir held numerous posts such as Registrar Cooperative Societies, Commissioner Women and Child Development, Secretary Agriculture and Madhya Pradesh State Excise Commissioner. Sir had also served as the Principal Secretary to Chief Minister in Madhya Pradesh. During his term as the Principal Secretary, Sir received the Prime Minister's Award for the initiative Recognition of Forest Rights in the year 2010. Sir has also served as the Vice Chairman of the Narmada Valley Development Authority. Sir retired from the post of Secretary at Department of Public Enterprises in the year 2013 and assumed the charge as one of the 2 election commissioners of India on 14th August 2015. During his term, Sir oversaw elections in 14 states such as Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, Assam, Pondicherry, West Bengal to name a few. The theme of today's eminent speaker session, Democracy in India and Administration, is not only timely, but it also has a deep significance. As we all know, democracy is the very foundation of our nation and its effective functioning depends upon the strength, integrity and responsiveness of public administration. And who can better guide us on this, who had someone upheld and safeguard one of the strongest pillars of democracy, that is the Election Commission of India. With these words, I once again welcome Sir, and before asking Sir to enrich us with his knowledge and experiences, I request our respected Director Sir to welcome our guest of the day, Sir O.P. Rawat Sir, with Angvastra, sapling, memento and the Gondi painting. Sir.
Oh, very good. ये ट्राइबल म्यूजियम का ये सर बॉडी पेंटिंग आर्टिस्ट है उससे सीधे बनाते हैं. वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm confident that today's interaction with Sir will not only broaden our understanding of the critical link between democracy and administration, but will also guide us in our future roles for all of you to become the better public servants. With this, I hand over today's session to Sir. Sir.
Democracy, that's the key word of today's subject. I remember one of the incident when I was collector in Indore and Chief Secretary came to visit us. He expressed the desire that tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock we should all go to Rala Mandal. I don't know whether many of you may be knowing this place. It's very close to the district headquarters, but it was a denuded hill with some historical building up at the top. So we were surprised as to why Chief Secretary wants to go there. I consulted my DFO, my other officers, PWD, etc., but nobody could fathom as to why this was so. But then we got ready in the morning and 5 o'clock just marched with the Chief Secretary, Commissioner and everyone in the tow, and Chief Secretary went right up to the peak, and we had to somehow reach there as well. Though we were younger, still it was an exercise. And on our return, he said that what efforts are you making to rehabilitate this hillock, means green it. So our DFO said so many things. We have done this, we have done this, the nursery is there, plants are coming up and we will plant and all those things. He listened to everyone and then he said, nothing doing, you don't have to do anything. Just close it against grazing so that no goats, no sheep, no other animal can come inside and graze over this hill. I could understand because before joining IAS, I was in Indian Forest Service and I wanted to remain there because that was my first love. But there I was allocated to a state which I somehow could not adjust, and therefore I had to appear again and come into IAS, and here luckily I got Madhya Pradesh. So I said, yes, this will really work, and we did it within a month. We dug trenches, put barbed wire and all arrangements so that no grazing could take place. I stayed there after this visit for about 1.5 years more, and by that time some shoots of plants had come up, but nothing much revolutionary. But after that, when I went to Delhi in Ministry of Defense, and I got a photograph from my DFO there that this hillock has become so green that it has regained its past glory, and 50 years back it was like that. And now we are declaring it as a wildlife sanctuary because wildlife has also come in. So why did I give this example to you? This is about India, this is about democracy. That hillock had root stock of its past glory buried inside the soil. And that is why when you prevented grazing, root stock bloomed into a pristine forest of yore. And the same thing happened to India when after 1,000 years of alien rule, colonization, all kinds of suppression, destruction, when we became independent and our political leaders decided to make India into a democratic republic and gave universal suffrage, means everyone who is a citizen and above a certain age will be a voter, and every vote will be same, whether it is Mukesh Ambani's vote or a beggar's vote, they will be same, and everyone was given the voting right, whereas our colonizers did not give the voting right to everyone. In fact, in their own country they did not give voting rights to women. That was very late in 1928. And in our country, under Government of India Act 1935, they gave voting rights only to 4 categories of people: educated, tax paying, landlords, and those who were close to the ruling elite, only those people. And the voter list of India prior to 1947 was having just about 40 million, means 4 crore voters. So when we adopted this universal suffrage, democratic republic, Britishers predicted doom, that India is going to be doomed, they cannot survive, they have done something which is terrible and they will ruin their country. Because they knew that you won't be able to prepare a voter list with that 4 crore template. But Election Commission of India, which was established on 25th January 1950 with Sukumar Sen as the first Chief Election Commissioner, because at that time only one election commissioner used to be there, Chief Election Commissioner, no other. He set out to make the first electoral roll of India, because for democracy, electoral roll, elections, these are the bedrock for a democracy. Periodic elections must be held, free, fair, credible elections must be held, and bloodless transfer of power after every election must take place. That is the essence of democracy. And I generally tell people that earlier the political conflict used to be resolved by battles and wars. पानीपत की लड़ाई होती थी कि कौन राज्य करेगा, अकबर करेगा कि पहले वाला आदमी ही करेगा. हजारों लाखों लोग मरते थे. And this democracy, democratic model, it replaced those battles and wars, and elections came in to decide the political conflict as to who will rule the country. Very peaceful, most peaceful. But being peaceful doesn't mean that there will be no pressures, there will be no contestations. In fact, there will be much more which will not meet your eyes. I give you an example that when I joined Election Commission, the first election was Bihar, and we ensured that huge paramilitary forces were deployed there because it was notorious for all kinds of wrongdoings. But we deployed so much of force that everywhere it was looking like, a cantonment. Nothing happened, not a single incident of violence, not a single incident of quarrel, not a single incident of firing, nothing happened. But after the elections, when we collected the data, we found that 17 of our polling personnel had died in the polling booth. Why? Why should they have died? If it was so peaceful? Because political parties and candidates leave no stone unturned. They will do all kinds of things to win election. And those stresses play very heavily on our polling personnel who are there, who have to manage the poll, who have to manage everything. So that is where Mr. Sukumar Sen started. Now you have to visualize. Today you have mobile phone, you have WhatsApp, you have all kinds of emails and things that you can reach out to any place, anywhere, any individual immediately. Those were the days, 48, 49, 50, when you have to prepare an electoral roll de novo from the scratch, because that 4 crore list will not work. How could you go about it? Just visualize that and you will know what kind of position you are getting in administration, where you may be asked to do anything de novo. You start from the scratch. And to cap it all, partition brought more misery. Lakhs of people from East Pakistan side had come here as refugees. From West Pakistan, so many had come as refugees, and many of our people who were here, they had gone that side, and they were all in a limbo. they didn't have address, they didn't have house number, no mohallas, no wards, nothing. During that melee, you have to prepare an electoral roll without a mobile, without email, without anything, and post. It will take 7-8 days to reach any place from Delhi. Instructions, if you want to pass on, it may take 10-15 days. At times it may not even reach, because the postman was away on leave, did not reach there. In those days, with those kind of problems, and another problem was literacy level was so low. When Britishers left us, 90% people were illiterate. And condition with women was such that they didn't have names. When our enumerator went from house to house, he came back with a list that Ram Bihari and underneath Ayodhya Wali Bahu. That was the name. What to do? Mauranipur Wali Bahu, yeah, Choti Bahu, Badi Bahu, no names. With that, Mr. Sukumar Sen was really in big stress. What to do? How to bring the names? And people were expecting, the political masters were expecting that somehow you will do it and elections must be held in 51. Time is running out. You have just 2 years, 2.5 years. So, one master stroke that if Bahus want to vote, they have to disclose their name, it will not work. Mauranipur Bahu will not work. You have to tell the name. Now, another problem was neither the husband is taking the name of wife, nor wife is taking the name of husband. So, if there is an elderly person in the house, yes, you can get the names of both. But if there is no elderly person, how to get the names? Husband is there, but he says, I won't call her name. With those difficulties, things were smoothened, and there was no law. If you see the laws concerning electoral roll preparation, this law was enacted in 1950, Representation of People Act 1950, and the Representation of People Act 1951 for conduct of poll, that came in 51. So, even the laws were not there. So, even laws had to be formulated by the Election Commission and give to the Parliament to pass in 50 and 51. So, without the laws, without communication, without names of people, especially women, you have to prepare that voter list. But that voter list was prepared and 17.5 crore voters came on the rolls, well in time for elections to be delivered in 1951. That was the strength of you people, people working at the grassroots, taking instructions, directions from Delhi through ordinary post, reaching them 7 days, 10 days later, at times even missing those. Even then, they could complete the task, and from a restricted voting right voter list of 4 crores, they could make the first electoral roll of 17.5 crore without much of halla gulla or anything. Like these days, so much of halla gulla is there in Bihar for just a revision. Means you have a template, you have an electoral roll, some additions and alterations are to be done. So, that electoral roll came, and this is very well summarized in one of the books. When I was there, one research scholar from Israel, Ornit Shani, had come. She did a lot of hard work, a lot of research, sitting at Election Commission, and brought out all these details from the documents and published a book called How India Became Democratic. I wanted to give that book to you, but somehow it didn't reach me yesterday. Today I will get it and I will leave it with the director, and anyone interested can read it. It is a fascinating book as to how between 48 and 51 this exercise could be completed. The anecdotal evidence from grassroots level, patwaris, RIs, teachers, all those, how did they work and how could they bring those democratic roots to our democracy. Now this got established, electoral roll was accepted. Why? Because we had democratic roots. Before this 1000 years of colonial rule, our country, if you see the mythology, even when Ram Raj was there, Ram used to go out incognito and listen to what people are thinking about his rule. So much so that when he heard something against his wife, he sent his wife to the forest. Public opinion mattered that much to the ruler, even in our mythology. Ashoka the Great, he also did the same thing. He constituted bodies of people's representatives to advise. Though he was a king emperor, but still there was some democratic mechanism. There were many other republics, Lichavi Republic and all those republics I won't like to name. Many of you may be having ancient history and will be knowing. There were democratic formations in our country throughout our ancient past, as well as up till Mughals came and sat here. Those roots like Rala Mandal were inside the earth, and as soon as closure took place and constitutional provisions took shape on the ground, electoral roll was prepared, they came up and a full-fledged democracy on the global stage emerged. But difficulties were ahead, because literacy just 10% or 12%, they could not read the ballot paper, they could not mark the vote. So the decision of the government was to Election Commission that you must have as many ballot boxes, as many candidates on that polling booth. If in a constituency 12 candidates are in the fray, your team will carry 12 ballot boxes to the polling station, and this ballot box will have photo, name, everything of the candidate, and no ballot paper to mark, only a slip. Voter has just to slip in that thing in the ballot box concerned. If you want to vote A, the ballot box of A, you put in the slip, that's all. But even there were surprises, because of illiteracy and those issues. They found many slips put at some live election symbol. Like one slip was found where 2 bullocks were tied to a tree, because there was an election symbol of a party, Bail Jodi. So the voter did not put in the ballot box, went there and put at the feet of the bullocks. Those kind of things were there. And with those challenges, election had to be delivered in 51. Then came ballot box. We had no engineering or technology here, no company manufacturing the ballot boxes. Those kind of things, that which can be sealed, which can be prepared, and which can be unsealed for counting. All those systems were not here, and no company was manufacturing. And time was not there to set up a company to manufacture, for 17.5 crore, if 1,000 people vote at one polling booth, imagine the number. And if candidates at every polling booth are 10 or more, then multiply by 10. That many ballot boxes will be required. So Election Commission's task was very tough. They went to industries and then they selected the model churned out by Messrs. Godrej, and they set up the manufacturing units at 4 or 5 places. so that in 1 year they could manufacture that many ballot boxes. With this, elections approached and government was anxious as to how will it happen. But election commission was confident that now everything is in place, electoral roll is in place, ballot boxes are in place, training of the polling personnel has been conducted 4 times, everything was done. And these people, like you and me, at the grassroots level and upwards, returning officer and everyone, they were also confident that they will be able to deliver and they will be able to prove the Britishers wrong that we will ruin our country by giving universal suffrage. And elections were delivered on time, 51. I think February 52 it was all over and results were declared and new government took over. That is how the democratic root stock of our country, which was buried under the earth because of the 1,000 years of colonial rule, helped us. But if you compare us with neighboring parting away countries, what happened there? Because Bangladesh was part of India, Pakistan was part of India. What has been happening there? Although the democratic roots were there because they were part of our country, but because the nation was created in volatility, with violence, with all those things, and those roots could not be permitted to blossom. The closure for against grazing was not there, and therefore they had martial law, they had army rule, they had all kinds of problems. And even today, what is happening in Bangladesh, what is happening in Sri Lanka, what is happening in Nepal, if you compare, you will feel proud that India has done very well. They have ensured that whatever our political leadership wanted, that we become a democratic country, elections should be delivered free, fair and credible periodically, and everyone should have faith, should have belief in the elections outcome, and that government should rule with legitimacy for a tenure which is stipulated in the constitution. So that singles out India against the other countries. In fact, I was election observer in South Africa. That was the first election after anti-apartheid, 94. Earlier, same British colonial thinking, blacks had no right to vote. Whites were just 5% population and they used to elect the people's representatives and government was formed. And suddenly they found that now everyone will be a voter, equal value of at each vote, and these elections will be held in 94. And to show to the world, from many countries, election observers were appointed by United Nations and we all went there. Things were really bad there. In fact, we were advised in our training session that we don't want heroes. We want you safely back to your country. So please do not adventure out. Do not go if there is violence. Stay indoors. Even if you don't work, it doesn't matter. But we want you safely home. But still, many of us did a remarkable job, and in fact, in my constituency, because I was in Nelson Mandela's constituency, and when I went in the evening, the day, material was issued to the parties, and in the evening I was supposed to verify that parties have reached the polling stations, and submit a report, okay report, that yes, everything is all right. बीच में जब इनका ब्रेक हो ना तो उस समय दिखा देंगे, कर लीजिए आप. सॉरी, आप कर लेंगे. ओके. I did not find even a single polling party at the polling station. I was shocked that this had to happen to me, that no one has reached, whereas most of them had to travel only about 20 kilometers, not more, 10, 5, maximum 20 kilometers. Then I asked my driver, who was a black, very tall fellow, 6.5 feet. I asked you, why are these people not there? He said, don't worry sir, I'll take you, where are they? And he took me to nearby pubs. And everyone was found there with our election material lying here, there, and they were there. That was their social culture, that whenever they get money, they'll go out and drink. And many were so much inebriated that I couldn't do much. So I had to inform UNO that here polling cannot take place tomorrow. And with that report, the government moved in and they ensured that the officials next day move in to the polling station, and therefore the polling was postponed by 1 day. This kind of thing never happened in our country, never. But there also, next day the polling took place peacefully, because the voters they had gathered on the day of poll, and when they were told that no polling will take place today because of these reasons, they thanked me. They said, okay for informing, but we are not going anywhere from here. This is our polling station and we will leave only after voting, because they were voting for the first time, historic, and they wanted that their own elected representatives take over. And they are 95% of the population. Only 5% were outsiders. They were drinking, dancing, merry-making, and continued throughout the night. Though it was cold, but still they remained just outside the polling booth, everywhere, all polling stations. And next day, 96%, 97% polling took place. And I think results you all know that against their expectation that they will be able to win, they got only about 10% seats, and Nelson Mandela's party got 90% of the seats. So that is just a contrast, how our machinery, how our people at the grassroots level, at the middle level, at the higher level, they behaved for first elections in 51-52 when so many difficulties were there, and how this happened in another country where democratic roots were not there. Democracy was not in the blood, not in the DNA. Here it was in some shape, in some form with us. And even today, if you see things, you will find that whether it is business association, whether it is Lions Club, Rotary Club, or anything, everywhere you will find democracy. Means everyone will vote and then office bearers will be decided according to that. So democracy is everywhere visible, functioning, doing it. The constitution makers, they were so brilliant and good for us visionary in fact, that they could visualize as to how the flow of events over the years will take shape and what difficulties, what problems will come. So, they could fathom most of it and made provisions for dealing with them. But still, one thing they could never imagine, that we will suddenly become very prosperous and politicians will start using money, distributing money for votes. This they could not imagine, and therefore there was no provision in the law how to deal with it. Violence, muscle men, booth capturing, ballot boxes looting, all those things they could imagine, and they made a provision that wherever such incident take place, Election Commission will be authorized to cancel that poll and have a repoll. Even if large scale of this kind happening, then whole constituencies repoll. All those powers were there. But use of money or freebies they could not imagine, and therefore no provision was there. No provision is there even. And this we noticed in 2016. In one of the MLA constituency, 90 crores had been distributed cash. Just one MLA constituency, 90 crores had been distributed cash to voters. And Election Commission could gather evidence from the whole constituency that yes, this has happened. Now what to do? So then we could find that there was a ruling of Honorable Supreme Court, 1977. Please tell. Lily Thomas. Lily Thomas is there, but this is Gill, MS Gill versus Chief Election Commissioner, 1977, that whenever there is a void in law and such a challenge comes up with the Chief Election Commissioner during elections, staying within the four walls of existing other laws, whatever Chief Election Commissioner decides, that becomes the law to meet that challenge, because elections cannot be stopped. Elections have to be delivered in time, on a stipulated time, on a stipulated date, but that challenge has to be met, and therefore Chief Election Commissioner will have these plenary powers. Supreme Court called as plenary power, that since there is a void in law, you devise some solution and do it. This came in handy for the Election Commission at that time, and they countermanded the election. That since 90 crores have been distributed, the atmosphere has been vitiated, and we don't feel that a free, fair election is possible. So countermanded means cancelled. And the person who had distributed that kind of money was really frustrated and went right up to the Supreme Court. Fortunately for Election Commission, Supreme Court supported and said yes, it is a correct decision. Only thing is that our constitution, our laws want that no seat should remain vacant for more than 6 months. So Election Commission will keep in mind that within 6 months they will have to hold election. So even that thing is now a precedent, that wherever the money, freebies, etc. are distributed, Election Commission can take a call and can make a redressal there and ensure. Though political class is also highly imaginative and they are very creative. In fact, that election, I will just tell you, that took place after about 4.5 months, and the same candidate won by a record margin, beating all other records. And we were surprised because our surveillance teams, flying squads, everything were empty. Not a single paisa was distributed this time. No party distributed any money. Nothing was seized. Nothing was caught. But still that person won by a record margin. Then it was found later on that political class came to know that during the election commission's jurisdiction, from the day of notification till the day of counting, there are people catching us. So forget about this time period. So he somehow, I don't know what did he do, because there was no research on this, so it is a conjecture that he might have issued tokens or something, I don't know. And when results were out, his headquarters was crowded. People with those sort of checks or tokens or anything were flocking the office to exchange those for money. And nobody could catch, because election commission is out. As soon as the results are declared, election commission is out, nothing can be done. And then somebody told us that he had promised that if I get one vote more than the opponent at your polling station, all the voters there can come and exchange this, whatever piece I have given, to 1,000 times cash. And he distributed that money. And that is why he broke all the records. So they are more creative and imaginative, and therefore election commission and all of us, because during elections you are all part of election commission in the form of returning officer, in the form of zonal officer, in the form of some or the other thing. So we have to be one step ahead of them to ensure that free, fair and credible elections are delivered. Our constitution, otherwise, with this exception, is so perfect that everything is there. Separation of power between judiciary, executive and legislature. Everything is very well laid out. And everything is functioning very smoothly. There are some stresses and strains at times, but that is bound to happen in any vibrant democracy, wherever we are working, wherever things are happening, and where are contentious issues are there. All this will happen. The separation of power is from Article 50, where it is written, and other articles also stipulate that. But to your surprise, you will find that political parties, which are so crucial for the elections and for running of democracy, political party doesn't find a mention in the constitution until that time when defections made the political parties and government worried, and then a provision for or anti-defection law was made, or that amendment was made. At that time the political party was mentioned in the constitution. So with that, I think concept of democracy, how in India democracy took shape after the colonial rule ended, how the buried root stock is helping us even today to ensure, come what may, what India will continue to remain democratic. That confidence is there with us. Nothing of the sort which is visible all around can happen to us. And credit goes to administrators like you, your ancestors in those places. So that will be second part as administration. So before starting that, we have a video, we will show the video and then we will talk of administration. If you have any questions before you break, then please you can ask. Oh, film. If you have
So when you were respected Chief Election Commissioner of India, did you face any election dilemma, legal dilemma and political pressure over you?
can you hear me? It is okay. People say that there are no pressures or this and that, but it is not good. It is not correct, because something which was achieved through killing of people, battles and wars, cannot be so easily achieved peacefully that nothing happens. It is just unbelievable. It doesn't happen that way. You get all pressures, you have to navigate through all those pressures somehow, and many political leaders or political outfits are so difficult that if you do not dance to their tune, you may have repercussions. Those things happen, do happen, and it always happens. So much so that when Mr. T.N. Seshan was CEC from 90 to 96, his tenure till 93 was so troublesome to the politicians that all of them combined and made election commission as 3-member commission and brought in 2 members. Second change they did, that every decision of election commission will be either taken unanimously or by majority. Means 2 appointed by the government can always be told that ensure that this decision is not taken. So everything is there to bring in pressure, to get anything done your way. But there is one comment from our President of India, which I remember in 2017 January. He made this comment on National Voters' Day, that these civil servants, all of you, these civil servants, when they work under the government, under a political outfit, they carry out their orders, they carry out their policies and programs to the to the hilt with full commitment, full dedication. But when they leave government and a few of them come to the election commission as election commissioners, I am proud to say that since 1950, every one of them has ensured that all political leaders, including me, we dance to the tune of election laws. They ensured that we do not escape the penalty if we violate the law or code of conduct or anything. This was a public speech by Honorable President, and that is a certificate, big certificate. And just after that, in Supreme Court, a case was going on which resulted in change in selection process of election commissioners. Supreme Court also observed, although Parliament has not enacted a law prescribing how election commissioners will be selected, still we express satisfaction that so far whatever election commissioners have come, they have delivered free, fair and credible elections continuously, and we can feel proud for that. So these 2 certificates say that even if you are appointed by a political outfit, when you are in election commission, you have enough protection to resist the pressures and deliver a free, fair poll. Yeah, please.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम चंद्रकांत त्यागी है। सर मेरा लोकतंत्र के बारे में, जैसे कि आपने कहा कि जब ब्रिटिशों ने हमें छोड़ के गए थे तो उन्होंने ये कहा कि हमारी 10% आबादी भी एजुकेटेड नहीं है और हम बहुत दिनों तक लोकतांत्रिक प्रक्रिया को नहीं अपना पाएंगे। बावजूद उसके हमने बहुत अच्छे से लोकतंत्र को न सिर्फ अपनाया है बल्कि एक लंबे समय तक उसको कंटिन्यू भी रखा है। हम अपने पड़ोसी देशों की भी, सर आपने जैसे बात कही कि किस तरह अस्थिरता वहाँ पे बनी हुई है और हम एक सफल लोकतंत्र के रूप में उभर कर दिन ब दिन आ रहे हैं। लेकिन सर जब इसके दूसरे पक्ष को हम देखते हैं तो हम ये पाते हैं कि आज लोकतंत्र के मायने सिर्फ चुनाव तक ही सीमित रह गए हैं क्या? हम संस्थाओं, मूल्यों या अन्य पक्षों की बात नहीं करते हैं। या दूसरा, जब हम देखते हैं, जब लोकतंत्र की हम बात करते हैं तो हमारे नागरिकों को आज हम उपभोक्तावादी ग्राहक के तौर पर लोकतंत्र के बारे में पेश किया जाता है। या आज लोकतंत्र में लोक नीति से बढ़कर कहीं ज़्यादा अधिकता लोकप्रियता की हो गई है। तो इस तरह के सर हम मूल प्रश्नों को, या ये कहें सर हम कि जो हमारे संविधान निर्माताओं ने हमारे लोकतंत्र से अपेक्षा की थी, क्या उतने समय में उतने द्रुत गति से हम लोकतंत्र को प्राप्त कर पाएँ?
बहुत महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न किया है इन्होंने और इससे मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आप लोगों के कंधे पर जो देश का भार आने वाला है वो बहुत सुरक्षित है। कहीं कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होने वाली है, बिकॉज यू आर ऑल वेरी ब्राइट एंड वेरी गुड। इतना ज़्यादा आप आगे का सोच लेते हैं, इतना ज़्यादा समझ लेते हैं, इतनी ज़्यादा चिंता आप कर लेते हैं, दैट इज समथिंग वेरी वंडरफुल एंड वेरी रीअश्योरिंग टू मी। ये है, बिल्कुल सही है, प्रॉब्लम्स हैं और उन प्रॉब्लम्स को हम ही लोगों को हल करना है, स्पेशली आप लोगों को, क्योंकि आप लोग आने वाले हो आगे, आप लोगों को करना है कैसे इसको किया जाए। क्योंकि देखिए, डेवलपमेंट मॉडल जो हम लोगों ने अपना लिया है, वेस्टर्न डेवलपमेंट मॉडल, उसके जो दुष्परिणाम उन लोगों ने भुगते हैं वो तो भुगत चुके बहुत पहले, क्योंकि 400 साल पुरानी डेमोक्रेसी है, कोई 200 साल पुरानी डेमोक्रेसी है। हम लोग अभी 75 साल पुराने डेमोक्रेसी हैं या 77 साल पुराने डेमोक्रेसी हैं। हमें वो भुगतने पड़ेंगे अगर हम ध्यान नहीं रखते आपकी तरह, अगर हम चेंज नहीं लाते, अगर हम लोग तैयार नहीं होते उसके लिए, तो हमें वो सब भुगतने पड़ सकते हैं, वो सब परिणाम हो सकते हैं। तो इसलिए आपने बहुत अच्छी चिंता व्यक्त की है। इसके लिए आप लोगों को जागरूक रहना चाहिए और हम लोगों को कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि जो दुष्परिणाम दिख रहे हैं सामने, उनको प्रिवेंट कैसे किया जाए, कैसे उनसे निजात पाते हुए, डेवलपमेंट मॉडल तो अब नहीं बदला जा सकता, लेकिन चलते रहें। और बहुत जगह से ये कोशिश हो रही है, काफ़ी लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं और मुझे लगता है कि अगर मंशा है, इच्छा शक्ति है और कमिटमेंट है हम सब लोगों का, तो वो सब चीज़ें जो बुराइयां अभी दिख रही हैं वो ख़त्म हो जाएंगी। और पार्टिसिपेटरी डेमोक्रेसी, अकेले इलेक्शन में पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं, इलेक्शन के बाद जो 5 साल है उस समय भी पार्टिसिपेटरी डेमोक्रेसी रहे और लोगों को भरोसा रहे कि उस तरह से हम चल रहे हैं। और इसीलिए एक देश एक चुनाव की अवधारणा भी आई कि भाई ये 5 साल तक लोग सिर्फ फाइटिंग मोड में रहते हैं। नेता लोग हर साल इलेक्शन, अभी भी इलेक्शन हुआ था, अभी फिर इलेक्शन आ गया बिहार का, उसके बाद तमिलनाडु और केरल, ये सब आ जाएगा। तो ये हर समय बॉक्सिंग रिंग में रहते हैं, एक दूसरे को मारते रहते हैं। और इलेक्शन कमीशन भी रेफरी की तरह वहाँ बेचारा परेशान रहता है, कभी इधर से पढ़ता है, कभी उधर से पढ़ता है, आलोचना होती रहती है। वो सब चीज़ खत्म हो जाए, 4-5 साल शांतिपूर्वक आपके पास समय हो कि आप फोकस कर सकें गवर्नेंस इश्यूज़ पर, आप फोकस कर सकें ये जो चिंताएं आ रही हैं, जो यंगस्टर्स के मन में तक चिंताएं आ गई हैं, इनको डील करने का। हो सकता है अगर वो चीज़ फलीभूत हो जाए, बिल तो बनाया गया है और बिल जेपीसी में अभी है, हो सकता है आ जाए।
थैंक यू।
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम राजेश कुमार सोनी है। सर, निर्भीक एवं निष्पक्ष चुनाव की पूरी आपने बात बताई, कैसे हो सकते हैं, और TN सेशन साहब से लगा करके सारे चुनाव आयुक्तों के बारे में आपने बताया। पुलिस और प्रशासन के लिए चुनाव हमेशा से एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती रहा है, यहाँ तक कि आम आदमी और नागरिक के लिए भी चुनावों को लड़ना, चुनावों को समझना, चुनावों में आना हमेशा से कठिन और डर का विषय रहा है। हमेशा यह समझा जाता रहा है कि चुनावों में आपराधिक प्रवृत्ति के लोग, बाहुबली लोग, भारी लोग ही आ पाते हैं। साधारण व्यक्ति चुनाव में जाना पसंद नहीं करता है। इसके लिए जब हम देखते हैं सर, चुनावों में जो आपराधिक प्रवृत्ति के व्यक्ति आते हैं और उन पे अपराध दर्ज होते हैं, वो अपराध के निर्णय काफ़ी लंबे समय तक चलते रहते हैं। निर्णय आने में इतना विलंब हो जाता है कि वो दूसरे चुनाव भी लड़ लेता है, तीसरे चुनाव भी लड़ लेता है और वो पद पर बना रहता है। क्या ऐसी कोई व्यवस्था नहीं हो सकती है जिसमें रेप केस या अति गंभीर अपराधों की श्रेणी में इसको मानते हुए इसमें कोई फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट से 1 साल में 6 माह में निर्णय लिए जाएं, ताकि आपराधिक प्रवृत्ति के लोगों पर रोक लगे और अच्छे लोग भी इसमें आ पाए?
बिल्कुल होना चाहिए, मैं आपसे पूरी तरह सहमत हूँ, लेकिन ये चीज़ हो नहीं रही है। बल्कि इसकी जगह मांग ये उठ रही है कि जिसके खिलाफ गंभीर अपराध हों उसको चुनाव ही ना लड़ने दिया जाए। अब अपराध होना तो बहुत मामूली बात है, क्योंकि ये समय जो है वो ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट का है, फेक न्यूज़ का है, हर तरह का फेकरी होती है। तो सिर्फ आपके खिलाफ रेप केस दर्ज करा दिया और आपको आउट कर दिया। क्योंकि मैं रजिस्ट्रार कोऑपरेटिव्स रहा हूँ और मैंने देखा कोऑपरेटिव्स में ये हमेशा होता रहा कि अच्छा आदमी, ईमानदार आदमी जो चुनाव लड़ रहा है, जो बढ़िया करेगा, उसके खिलाफ बिजली बिल निकाल दिया कि साहब इस पर बकाया है, तो वो बेचारा डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गया। छोटी सी चीज़ से डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गया। आपने एक FIR लगा दी और वो डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गया। तो जो ईमानदार आदमी है उसको तो तुरंत आप निकाल सकते हो बाहर, फिर गुंडे ही गुंडे चुनाव लड़ेंगे। तो वो चीज़ सही नहीं है कि सिर्फ अपराध कायम होने पर ही आप उसको डिस्क्वालीफाई करें। आपने जो हल बताया वो सही है कि 5-6 महीने में तय हो जाए, फैसला हो जाए, ट्रायल हो जाए और उसे भी सुनवाई का मौका मिल जाए और साबित हो जाए कि वो निर्दोष है या दोषी है, तब फिर खत्म हो जाना चाहिए। बिल्कुल ये व्यवस्था हो जाए तो राम राज्य आ जाएगा अपने, लेकिन हो नहीं रहा है। बहुत मुश्किल लगता है, इतना मुश्किल है जुडिशियल रिड्रेसल, इसके बारे में अलग से बात की जा सकती है, लेकिन बहुत मुश्किल है। तो अभी आपका ब्रेक होता है या फिल्म चालू करें? कर दीजिए भाई। हाँ, इलेक्शंस के दौरान है मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट। आफ्टर इलेक्शंस देयर इज नो कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट। जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है, जो लॉज हैं, बस वही। वो ये कहते हैं कि हमारा कोड जो है पब्लिक के पास है, 5 साल में हमें उसके पास जाना है, फिर से वोट मांगने। अगर उसे बुरा लग रहा है कि हमने अच्छा नहीं किया तो वो हमें रिजेक्ट कर देगी। दे से दैट, बट होना चाहिए, कुछ ना कुछ सोचा जाना चाहिए। हाँ, होना ही चाहिए। आई एग्री। कर दी। और पूछना है?
नमस्कार सर। Sir, our former Prime Minister said कि democracy is good. I say this because other forms of government are worse. तो सर क्या परिस्थिति रही होंगी कि पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी ने इस प्रकार का स्टेटमेंट दिया होगा, और आज के समय में भी क्या आप मानते हैं कि डेमोक्रेसी सिर्फ इसलिए अच्छा है कि हमारे पास कोई और विकल्प नहीं है?
बिल्कुल सही है, यही है। डेमोक्रेसी खराब है, हर तरह की परेशानियां हैं जो अभी आपके साथियों ने ही बताई हैं, क्रिमिनल्स और ये और वो सब है, लेकिन इससे अच्छी और कोई सरकारी व्यवस्था नहीं। डिक्टेटरशिप, मिलिट्री जुंटा, सभी। इनफैक्ट हमारे पहले एक CEC थे कुरैशी साहब, वो पाकिस्तान में इलेक्शन कराने गए थे, उनका इंडियन एक्सप्रेस में छपता था, रोज में पढ़ता था, फ्री फेयर इलेक्शन हो रहा है यहाँ, बढ़िया हो रहा है। तो मुझे ताज्जुब हुआ कि ये कैसे लिख रहे हैं। तो मैंने उनको फ़ोन किया कि सर आप रोज़ लिखते हो कि बहुत बढ़िया इलेक्शन हो रहा है, जबकि मैं सुनता रहता हूँ कि ये घटना हुई वहाँ, वो घटना हुई। तो बोले ओपी तुम क्या चाहते हो मैं वापस नहीं आऊँ इंडिया? तो उन्हें ऐसा क्या है? बोले तुम ऐसे करना, कल के डिस्पैच में पैरा नंबर ये की 4थी लाइन पढ़ना, तुम्हें समझ में आ जाएगा कि हो क्या रहा है और मैं क्यों लिख रहा हूँ। तो मैंने उसको पढ़ा, तो उसमें ये लिखा था उस लाइन में कि एवरी पोलिंग स्टेशन had a senior army officer sitting inside, and all grievances of presiding officer, polling officer, candidates, polling agent were decided by him. And when he failed to decide, he consulted his commanding officer on phone, and whatever dispensation commanding officer gave was delivered. मैं समझ गया कि ये तो पूरा खेल है, सिर्फ दिखाने का, आर्मी कंट्रोल कर रही है सब चीज़। हमारे यहाँ निर्देश ये हैं कि पुलिस बाहर रहेगी, अंदर तब तक नहीं आएगी जब तक कि प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर नहीं बुलाए। पुलिस सिर्फ सुरक्षा के लिए है, बाहर रहेगी। पोलिंग बूथ के अंदर तब तक नहीं आ सकती जब तक कि प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर ना बुलाए कि कोई दबाव डालने के लिए या उसके लिए। दैट इज द डिफरेंस।
सर एक और क्वेश्चन था कि यहाँ पर जैसे हम देख रहे हैं कि सारे यंग एस्पायरिंग माइंड्स आपके समक्ष बैठे हुए हैं, तो क्या फ्यूचर में भी हम ऐसा देख सकते हैं इंडिया में पार्लियामेंट और स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर्स में कि इसी प्रकार से यंग माइंड्स वहाँ बैठे हों अधिक से अधिक मात्रा में, जो कि अभी देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है सर?
नहीं, बिल्कुल होगा, ऐसा ही होगा। इनफैक्ट मुझे तो सरप्राइज हुआ, एक इंडिया टुडे कॉन्क्लेव में मैं गया, आई फाउंड ए पॉलिटिशियन हु वाज अ मिनिस्टर, स्टैनफोर्ड से पढ़ के आया और मिनिस्टर के रूप में काम कर रहा है एक स्टेट में, एंड ही वाज सो क्लियर हेडेड दैट व्हाटएवर आई कुड थिंक ही वाज स्पीकिंग। सो वी शुड हैव फुल फेथ इन यंगस्टर्स लाइक यू। आप लोगों ने कैसे कैसे चिंता व्यक्त की है जो मैंने कभी और सुनी नहीं। सो I am confident that you are really worthy of shouldering the burden of this nation.
Thank you, sir.
चलो चलो चलो।
As the year 2014 set in, the world waited for the largest democratic exercise ever to happen. That is, the Indian national elections. For the Indian people, it meant renewing their pledge to representative democracy through exercise of sovereign choice, as they did every time during the past 63 years. For the Election Commission of India, the permanent and independent body under the Indian Constitution mandated with conduct of free and fair elections. It was time again to prove its professional excellence through unbiased and flawless execution. In a country of around 1300 million people, 834 million were registered as voters just ahead of the general election to the 16th Lok Sabha. With this magnitude, diversity and complexity of demography, ethnicity and geography, many may not believe that the operations were led by a 3-member commission backed by a small secretariat of 350 officials. Of course, the exercise was made possible by engagement of staff and security of about 11 million taken on temporary basis under the full control of the commission. Talking about the scale, there were about 924,000 polling stations spreading also over snow-clad mountains to distant islands and deep deserts. Even for a single voter residing in the forests of Asiatic lines in the western state of Gujarat, one polling station was set up and kept open for the whole day. over 1.5 million electronic voting machines. India's time-tested and most helpful voting equipment was used once again. A voter verifiable paper audit trail, VVPAT, was tried out in limited numbers to give voters another level of satisfaction. Indian voters were offered for the first time the choice to reject all candidates in form of a button on their EVM called Nota, meaning none of the above. Men and material mobilization for these elections would be a nightmare for any event manager. There were challenges of terrain, inclement weather, absence of transport links and threat of extremists at some places, which were handled bit by bit. Engagement of technology in all parts of polling process was a distinct feature of this election, including webcasting from a large number of polling stations. Campaign by political parties was colorful, replete with mega rallies, street corner meetings and door-to-door campaigns, filled with wit and aggression and at times deviating from norms. Social media was massively used by the campaigners both positively and not so positively. Commission and its officials maintained an eagle eye on possible violations of model code and any deviation from spending norms through numerous checks, squads and surveillance teams.
Let's go! My vote is my voice. My vote is my power.
It takes just one.
Election management in 2014 distinctively revolved around the voter. Commission's flagship national program SWEEP, the acronym for Systematic Voters Education and Electoral Participation, played out full stream to strengthen information, motivation and facilitation among voters. Mass mobilization events like human chains, rallies, street plays, musical concerts and sports events were a common sight across the country, making the national election a true festival of democracy. Then came the polling days when Indian voters, led by women, youth and even the very old and differently abled, turned up beating hot weather and harsh conditions at many places. The highest ever turnout in an Indian national election was recorded this time at 66.4% compared to 58.19% in 2009. About 140 million more citizens voted in this election, showcasing democracy at its best. Women turnout increased from 55 to 65%. Undoubtedly, voting emerged as the new fashion statement, with voters posing in ink selfies on the social media. Where each single vote matters, the counting process has to be flawless and most transparent. In a matter of few hours, Indians and the world knew the shape of next government. Conduct of the Lok Sabha 2014 election in India is another reinforcement of country's vibrant democracy. Election Commission of India is proud to have anchored this milestone in line with the glorious tradition of delivering free and fair polls each time.
Can I continue? That was administration for conduct of elections, just 8 minutes video. But administration after elections, because your worry is after election. We must always think that we are trained professionals, administrators. You are getting a training here. You will get many training courses on your way. Whereas the people's representatives, they come from society without any formal training, and as our friend said, many criminal cases behind them, all kinds of skirmishes, all kinds of fighting and competitions, everything. But we both serve a definite purpose. They bring in the ground reality, people's aspirations, and we bring on the table the professional advice, professional way of dealing with problems, professional way of getting things done. Whatever people's representative bring on the table, we model it in a manner that it can be executed on the ground to achieve the desired results. That's the basic philosophy behind democratic administration. But aberrations galore. Everywhere you will find galore. That administrator is fighting with the political leader. Something is happening like this or that. Those are the things. But if you see, these are the things which are available in any setting. If you are not mature enough, if you are not rational enough, even in the family it can happen. Husband and wife may fight. Brother and sister may fight. Brothers and brothers may fight. It all depends on understanding. It all depends on your maturity of understanding issues and convincing the politician. And many a times I found that, to my utter surprise, something which was very close to the heart of the leader and was asking for that for years, and when I pointed out that, sir, this cannot be done because it has these consequences. My senior colleagues had told me that, please don't say this, you will be thrown out. But I didn't hesitate, because I said that I will not be dishonest with my political boss. I'll say in his face what is right and why. And I found that it was very well received, and the person stopped saying about those issues in public immediately. Things happen. And so much so that even during my election commission days, I kept that tempo, and I found that all those moments for me became a sort of proud memory for me. I didn't hesitate showing the mirror to them, and absolutely no repercussion, because it was right. So much so that in one case, I was advised by the leadership that you have not taken security and you have taken such a decision that our grassroots level workers may feel cheated, that our party appointed you election commissioner and you have delivered this order. You have ditched us, and they may misbehave, because without security you go to Nehru Park for walking. There may be some embarrassing moment. So they put all those things, means armed guard all four corners of my house, halogens, and then they said, you will not go out for walking, you will walk inside under the close watch of the guards. So all those things happen, but understanding takes away the bad part of it. Understanding on the part of the leadership, understanding on the part of the administrator. Lack of understanding, lack of capability, lack of sort of rational support from other peers, that results in confrontation, that results in bad blood everywhere. So administration in our country is run according to three books. One is Constitution, second is business allocation rules, means which department, which ministry will do what. It is all written there. Business allocation rules. And the third one is rules of business. How that business will be conducted in that department. So it is for all departments. Rules of business are applicable to all departments, all ministries for allocated business to you. And unfortunately, with you, things may be different, but whenever I found in different states, wherever I went, I found that generally these books are never read. That's a tragedy. Something which is so basic for your work, that these are business allocation, means your department will perform only these things, nothing more, nothing less. And you will perform these tasks according to these rules. This will be the delegation of power, this will be the way you will be putting up things. Everything is prescribed in black and white, in printed books are there. Madhya Pradesh government has these books. But having read this is very important for every administrator. As you go up, secretaries or HODs or below them, it has to be known. Another trend is there that the in charge secretary or HOD, head of department, they depend on their 2IC or 3IC and leave most of the work to them. That also happens. Means even at your level you may have responsibility and you must know all these things. You must be reading these things and you must know what is to be done in a given circumstance. But for all that you have lot of protection also. Constitution provides, Article 311, and that nobody can penalize you, nobody can take any action against you without giving you minimum protection of being heard, natural justice, all those things. Those protections are given to all civil servants in our country. And that really works very well. That works to infuse the confidence among the administrators, among people like you and me, and we can deliver whatever is expected of us. In case, because you may have occasions when these systems and these structures appear to be crumbling, failing, letting you down, then the ultimate is there. Like when I was there at Election Commission, I found that most of the political parties launched a vicious campaign against the EVM. And they wanted ballot paper back. And it was led by a party which won 67 out of the 70 seats through EVM and which lost in another state. They were leading this up front. And some stray incidents, like one incident of Ater in Bhind, by-election was there and something wrong happened, and that got into a very messy kind of media coverage. So all these things contributed to be so challenging to Election Commission that nothing could help, no business rules, nothing could help, and therefore Election Commission decided to go to public. They are the countervailing force against any political evil, because public is the sovereign in our country. Public votes to make you a leader, to give you legitimacy, and if you are doing wrong, we go to the public and show that what is happening and who is wrong. You are the best judge, you have to decide. So what we did, a campaign was launched that EVM, VVPAT, etc., our machinery will go to a village or to a basti, take some educated children of the basti or the village, make presiding officer, polling officer, and one with a register. You work with these machines and let the whole village or whole basti vote. In register you note down, and then all 3 counts you will declare the result. What register says, for which symbol, how many votes were there, then electronic count, what EVM is saying, and then VVPAT slip count. You will do, we will not touch it. This kind of campaign was launched, and this really succeeded in bringing the politicians to knees. So much so, public was so much angry that in one of the by-elections, public rejected that party, despite the fact that earlier also they had more than 50% vote and later also, and therefore the good sense prevailed. And when we launched EVM challenge also, we put up a challenge that wherever you feel that there was a complaint, please come with us, take that EVM, we will put in the hall, bring your engineers, hackers, everyone, and let them do. If one vote from here to there they could do, we will do away with EVM, we will bring in ballot. But because of our campaign, all political parties refused to come to meet that challenge, nobody came. For 7 days we kept it open, but nobody came, and that is the end of EVM campaign. But now it is electoral roll. That is coming. So they will find some or the other issue to take on you, but if administration is ready, if administration is rational, if administration is mature, nobody can ever defeat you, nobody can ever find fault with you, nobody ever can play tricks with you. Challenges for you are increasing, like as I told earlier also, that these are the days where trust is just not there. AI is creating, such videos which you cannot even imagine. You are saying something, that kind of video is in circulation, whereas you never said that. Fakery is rampant. Fake news in the media is rampant. Social media is full of garbage targeted for a particular direction, targeted for a particular mindset. All these things are coming up. So your times are more challenging than our times. But I am sure your capacities are also more than ours, because you have studied in schools and colleges where technology, where computers, everything is there. So you are knowing, you are exposed to all those things. And we had to search libraries for books. You can just Google and get it, anything on your phone, and you can find a solution, you can read it. So things are different, challenges are different, but administration can only deliver if the administrator had taken the training seriously, had taken the task seriously, had prepared himself or herself with whatever relevant and material laws, rules, regulations applicable to your situation, there won't be any problem. And I would close by one anecdote that also relates to election. At one place, when elections were on and counting was going on, the instructions of election commissions are that observer who comes from outside the state, observer and the returning officer, they will go every round from table to table. There are generally 14 tables, and they will go to every table and check that count was right and numbers of vote received by every candidate have been rightly printed and submitted for tabulation. They will sign after every round. That happened, and then the result was declared and a person was given the certificate of winning election. And within that certificate being given, in 10 minutes, a counting supervisor came running. Something has gone seriously wrong. The votes polled by the defeated candidate have been tabulated against the name who has been declared winner, and otherwise his votes here. So if you change it, if you make it correct, the person who has won will be losing and the other person will be winning. And then the observer and returning officer, a district magistrate of 2009 batch, they were really stressed, because the minimum penalty at this kind of a blunder is dismissal from service. Because you had every round, you had to verify, yes, I have seen and everything is correct. So after 10 rounds, if result is declared and you have certified that everything is correct, how could it happen? But the district magistrate contacted the election commission, and election commission had excellent relations with all the political parties. Not like present. At present things are very different if you are seeing the newspapers. Election commission intervened, talked to the national president of that party that we are in a mess, our 2 senior officers are facing dismissal and this has happened. Could you help? The national president said, sir, that candidate will be informed in 2 minutes. He will surrender the certificate and accept the result. And this happened. Within half an hour, things were sorted out. And next day's newspaper of that capital where counting was going on reported something wrong happened at this constituency's counting hall, but what was that wrong? Nobody could come to know. Only that much. And both the officers were saved. That is about administration. So, keeping in mind all eventualities, anything may happen during your work, during your career, during your sort of long years of employment with government. If you are doing everything habitually correct, if your habits are doing everything correct, going along with the laws, rules and propriety, even if the most heinous mistake happens at your hand by you, even then nothing bad can come to your face. you can always come out of these things. That is the crux for every administrator, and I think that you must keep in mind, that your habits make yourself good administrator, effective administrator, or just a run-of-the-mill kind of administrator. So I'll stop at that because there is still 15 minutes, so that whatever questions you have in your mind, whatever things you have in your mind, you can do it. Yeah, you are, yeah. माइक चाहिए.
गुड आफ्टरनून ऑनरेबल सर. सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर जब जो वोटिंग टर्न आउट है सर, वो बिटवीन 60 to 70% रहते हैं सर. इसकी एक बड़ी वजह है आजकल जो इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन है, अर्बनाइजेशन है. तो सर ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि एक इलेक्शन कमीशन नंबर दे दे सबको ऑल अराउंड द कंट्री, ताकि वो जहाँ कहीं भी हैं, अगर वो जाकर फिजिकली वोट नहीं डाल पा रहे हैं तो जहाँ कहीं भी हैं वो जाकर के वहाँ उस नंबर को इंटर करें उस पोलिंग बूथ में जा करके, और फिर अपना जो कास्टिंग वोट है वो कर सकें सर. तो क्या इस डायरेक्शन में सर इलेक्शन कमीशन काम कर रहे हैं सर? मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ सर.
बिल्कुल इसमें काम कर रहा है. ये भी हो रहा है कि जो NRIs हैं, विदेश में रहते हैं, या जो माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स हैं जो सीजनली माइग्रेट करके दूसरी जगह काम करने चले जाते हैं, या स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो नौकरी के इंटरव्यू या ट्रेनिंग या किसी और वजह से बाहर गए हुए हैं, वो वोट डाल सकें. उसके लिए इलेक्शन कमीशन पिछले 10 साल से कोशिश कर रहा है. लेकिन इलेक्शन कमीशन का एक सिस्टम है कि कोई भी नई चीज़ वो तब तक लागू नहीं करते हैं जब तक कि ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग में सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियां सहमति ना दे दें. जैसे एक बहुत बड़ा इशू चल रहा था कि भाई पोलिंग स्टेशन वाइज पता लग जाता है कैंडिडेट को कि कहाँ से मैं हारा हूँ, और वो उस वार्ड की बहुत मरम्मत करने लग जाते हैं. जीत के आ गए, सरकार में आ गए तो उन लोगों को बहुत बुरा हाल कर देते हैं. तो इलेक्शन कमीशन ने एक उसका इलाज निकाला था कि टोटलाइज़र बनाया, एक मशीन बनाई टोटलाइज़र, कि 14 जो एक राउंड में 14 टेबल के वोट होते हैं वो अलग अलग नहीं बताए जाएंगे, उनको टोटलाइज़र में सिंथेसाइज किया जाएगा और एक साथ बताया जाएगा. तो जिससे आप पता नहीं लगा सकते कि आप कहाँ हारे हो. जैसे जिसने 90 करोड़ बांटा था, उससे जिस पोलिंग स्टेशन से कोई वोट नहीं मिला वो उन लोगों की दुरुस्त करता. तो ये चीज़ें बताई, लेकिन सारी पार्टियाँ उसको नहीं मान रही. सब कहते हैं कि नहीं साहब, हमें पता रहना चाहिए हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट कहाँ है और उसका रिटर्न हमें मिला कि नहीं मिला. सो दे आर नॉट एक्सेप्टिंग, एंड देयरफॉर इलेक्शन कमीशन इज सिटिंग ऑन दैट टोटलाइजर सिंस 2009. 16 साल हो गए लेकिन अभी तक लागू नहीं हुआ. ये चीज़ भी 10 साल से कोशिश की जा रही है कि रिमोट वोटिंग मशीन या रिमोट वोटिंग वहाँ जहाँ पे वो है, अगर वो ऑप्शन अपना एक्सरसाइज करता है तो वहाँ पोलिंग स्टेशन बना के वहाँ कर दें. कई तरीके से है और सब चीज़ें बन गई हैं, डेमोन्स्ट्रेट की जा चुकी हैं पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ को, लेकिन उनकी सहमति नहीं होने से अभी ये लागू नहीं हो रहा है. जैसे ही सहमति होती है, सबका विश्वास उसमें बनता है, ये लागू हो जाएगा और लोग वोट डाल सकेंगे.
थैंक यू सर. सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन और है सर कि जैसे सर जब इलेक्शंस के डेट आते हैं तो मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लागू हो जाता है सर, बट मॉडल ऑफ कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट को सर अभी स्टैच्यूटरी बैकिंग नहीं मिल पाई है सर. तो सर जैसे कि आप इलेक्शन कमिश्नर थे तो सर आपको ऐसा लगा कि मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट जैसी चीज़ें को थोड़ा लीगलाइज या तो स्टैच्यूटरी बैकिंग मिलनी चाहिए, ताकि इलेक्शन कमीशन के जो हाथ है थोड़ा बंधे हुए होते हैं वो थोड़ा और एक्सरसाइज पावर को कर पाएँ सर?
वो हमारे मित्र यहाँ से जो थे जिन्होंने बोला था कि केसेस का फैसला नहीं हो पाता है, क्रिमिनल केसेस पेंडिंग रहते हैं, चले गए हैं. तो मॉडल कोड इलेक्शन पीरियड, कैंपेन पीरियड जो शॉर्ट पीरियड है, महीने भर का, 3 हफ्ते का, 2 हफ्ते का, इसमें अगर लीगल बैकिंग आपने दी और कोर्ट में केस गया तो वो इतने दिन में कभी हल नहीं होगा, वो तो वर्षों लगेंगे उसमें. तो आप देखते रह जाओगे, कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा. इसीलिए लीगल बैकिंग नहीं चाहिए, होनी भी नहीं चाहिए. इसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन को पूरे समरी पावर्स हैं, कुछ भी कर दो. हम लोगों ने एक सीनियर मिनिस्टर को नोटिस दिया कि आपने ये गलती की, अगर आपने रिपीट की तो फिर हम आपको बंद कर देंगे और ये प्रचार भी नहीं कर पाएंगे आप। फैसला हो गया, नहीं मिला, उन्होंने गलती दोबारा की, उनको नज़रबंद कर दिया उनके घर में, और फिर उनने प्रचार नहीं कर पाया, तो तुरंत सजा हो जाती है और तुरंत रिफॉर्म हो जाता है। मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट सिर्फ इसीलिए बनाया गया है कि कैंपेन जो है वो साफ सुथरा बना रहे, एक सीमा के अंदर बना रहे, कोई ज़्यादा गड़बड़ी ना हो, कोई एक दूसरे के प्रति दुर्भावना ना पैदा हो, इसके लिए बनाया गया है। और उसमें इलेक्शन कमीशन को ही पूरे पावर हैं, क्योंकि आर्टिकल 329 कहता है कि नोटिफिकेशन से लेके काउंटिंग रिजल्ट निकलने तक सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी इंटरफेयर नहीं कर सकता। तो ऐसे में इलेक्शन कमीशन की जिम्मेदारी बहुत बढ़ जाती है कि किसी भी ग्रीवांस को हम तुरंत हल करें। और इसीलिए इलेक्शन कमीशन ने एक एप्लीकेशन डाला है, पता नहीं आप लोग अवेयर हैं कि नहीं, एक एप्लीकेशन पब्लिक डोमेन में डाला है, सी विजिल, सिटीजन विजिलेंस। इतना बढ़िया वो है कि अगर आप उसको डाउनलोड कर लेंगे तो जहाँ पर भी इलेक्शन होंगे वहाँ वो एक्टिव होगा, और यहाँ पर नहीं होगा। लेकिन जैसे बिहार में इलेक्शन आता है तो वहाँ एक्टिव हो जाएगा। आप अगर उसमें कोई भी गलत हो रहा है किसी भी तरह का, आप उसमें फ़ोटो या वीडियो खींच लेंगे और सबमिट बटन दबा देंगे। तो आप सोचिए, इलेक्शन कमीशन ने ये प्रॉमिस किया हुआ है कि विदिन 100 मिनट्स उसकी जांच हो जाएगी, अरेस्ट हो जाएगी, एफआईआर हो जाएगी, सीजर हो जाएगा, या जो भी एक्शन करना है वो हो जाएगा, और आपको फीडबैक भी मिल जाएगा कि ये कर दिया गया है। और सोचिए, इस एप्लीकेशन का इतना अच्छा परिणाम 2019 लोकसभा इलेक्शन में मिला कि 1,42,000 शिकायतें उस पर आईं, उनमें से 1,14,000 सही पाई गई और एक्शन हुआ। जबकि उसके पहले एक वेस्ट बंगाल इलेक्शन में कम से कम नहीं तो 5-6 लाख शिकायतें आई थी और एक भी सही नहीं पाई गई थी। कारण, क्योंकि शिकायत तो सब कर देते हैं, उसके बाद वो जो गवाह वगैरह हैं वो सब इधर उधर हो जाते हैं और वेरीफाई नहीं हो पाता। इसमें क्या है कि पीस ऑफ एविडेंस इज देयर इन टर्म्स ऑफ ए फोटो और ए वीडियो, तो कोई मना नहीं कर सकता कि साहब ये नहीं हुआ था, वो हो जाता है और पकड़े भी जाते हैं लोग। यहाँ तक हो गया कि एक एमएलए जो है जीत गया था, वो उसकी सीट जाने वाली थी, कोर्ट में चल रहा है केस, बिकॉज ही वॉज सीन speaking something which related to hate speech, which is an offense under the RP Act, और उसकी 2 साल से ज़्यादा की सजा है और वो डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाता है। तो इतना बढ़िया इसमें है कि आपको न्याय तुरंत मिल जाएगा। इसलिए लीगल बैकिंग की मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट को ज़रूरत नहीं है, बल्कि ये एक सेफगार्ड है कि नहीं दी है लीगल बैकिंग।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
नमस्ते सर, जैसा कि हम जानते हैं सर कि 2013 में नोटा का ऑप्शन भारतीय मतदाताओं के लिए उपलब्ध हुआ था सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डायरेक्शन के बाद। सर तब से लेकर अब तक लगभग 10 साल बीत चुके हैं, लगभग 1 दशक पूरा हो चुका है, मगर अभी तक सर ये एक ऑप्शन एक टूथलेस टाइगर बना हुआ है सर। सर इसे और अधिक प्रभावशाली बनाने के लिए अब तक क्यों प्रयास नहीं किए गए सर, और क्या ये सही उपयुक्त समय नहीं है कि इसको लोकतंत्र, भारतीय लोकतंत्र को और अधिक मजबूत करने के लिए इसको और अधिक वास्तविक शक्ति प्रदान की जाए सर? आपके इस पर क्या विचार हैं सर?
आपका सुझाव सही है, लेकिन जो इसका बैकग्राउंड है, क्यों इसको लाया गया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्यों कहा कि इसको लाइए, वो इसलिए है कि जैसे बैलेट पेपर से जब होता था तो आदमी जा रहा है वहाँ पोलिंग स्टेशन, सबको मालूम है कि ये आदमी वोट डालने गया, और वो बिना निशान लगाए बैलेट मोड़ के डाल दे उसमें, तो उसने किसी को नहीं दिया वोट और वोट डालने गया भी, या सब पे निशान लगा दे ताकि उसका इनवैलिड हो जाए, ये उसके पास डिस्क्रिशन था। बाहर जिसने उसे पैसा दिया है उसको कन्विंस कर दिया उसने कि मैं वोट डालने गया था, तो आपको ही डाल के आया होऊंगा, बाकी मुझे आप पसंद नहीं है क्योंकि आप सब गड़बड़ करते हैं, तो मैंने आपको वोट नहीं दिया। तो नोटा का ये बेसिक था कि उसको ये डिस्क्रिशन रहे वोटर को कि वो पूरी दुनिया के लिए वोट डालने गया है, उसने वोट डाला है, लेकिन चूंकि सारे कैंडिडेट बेकार हैं, सारे कैंडिडेट क्रिमिनल हैं, ठीक नहीं हैं, तो किसी को भी वोट नहीं देना हमें, तो अपनी इच्छा उसमें डाल के आ गया नोटा। इस पर्पस के लिए लाया गया था, इसको प्रभावी बनाने के लिए, मतलब कि अगर नोटा को 50% से ज़्यादा वोट मिल जाएं तो इलेक्शन रद्द हो जाए, इसके लिए बहुत लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं। अगर नोटा को सबसे ज़्यादा वोट मिले तो कोई भी इलेक्टेड डिक्लेयर ना किया जाए, इसके लिए भी बहुत ट्रैक्शन हुआ। लेकिन अपने यहाँ का लॉ इस समय जो है वो ये कहता है कि 99% वोट नोटा को मिले, एक कैंडिडेट को एक वोट मिल जाएगा तो वो जीता हुआ माना जाएगा। अभी लॉ ये है। तो जब तक पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज सहमत नहीं होते इस पर, तब तक इसको ट्रूथ नहीं दिए जा सकते। अभी उतना ही पर्पस सर्व कर रहा है जितना मैंने आपको बताया। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के उस केस में इतना ही पर्पस बताया गया था।
सर, इलेक्शन कमीशन की तरफ से इस संबंध में क्या प्रयास किए गए सर? क्या रिफॉर्म्स सजेस्ट किए गए हैं सरकार को इस संबंध में?
नहीं, इलेक्शन कमीशन ने नोटा के बारे में कुछ भी नहीं सजेस्ट किया है, लेकिन बहुत से रिफॉर्म सजेस्ट किए गए हैं। जैसे सबसे ज़्यादा तो पैसे का है। पैसा इतना खर्चा होता है कि कोई विश्वास नहीं करता है कि आपका 95 लाख में इलेक्शन हो रहा है। करोड़ों रुपए खर्चा कर देते हैं लोग, और इसलिए बच जाते हैं क्योंकि अभी सिर्फ कैंडिडेट के खर्चे पर सीलिंग है कि आपको विधानसभा के लिए इतना और लोकसभा के लिए इतना, 95 लाख करीब है। तो पार्टी के एक्सपेंडिचर पर कोई सीलिंग नहीं है। तो पार्टी एक एक क्षेत्र में 10-10, 20-20 करोड़ खर्चा कर देती है। तो आम वोटर को तो यही लगता है कि साहब ये तो मजाक कर रहे हैं कि 95 लाख, ये तो कितने करोड़ खर्च हो रहा है। तो एक तो अविश्वास पैदा हो रहा है जनता में। वो सीलिंग के लिए लिखा है इलेक्शन कमीशन ने कि भाई पार्टी खर्चे पर भी सीलिंग लगाइए, तभी तो ये जस्टिफाइबल होगा। इसी तरह से और भी सुझाव दिए हैं, कई सुझाव। और हमेशा एक लिस्ट जो है, अगर आप ECI की वेबसाइट पे जाएंगे eci.gov.in, तो उसमें जितने भी रिफॉर्म प्रपोजल अभी पेंडिंग है गवर्नमेंट के पास, उनकी पूरी सूची होगी और डिटेल्स भी होंगे। काफ़ी देते हैं, लेकिन जितने फीजिबल होते हैं गवर्नमेंट और पार्लियामेंट भी उनमें तुरंत चेंज कर देती है। बहुत से चीज़ों में फास्ट चेंज हुआ, जैसे 3 महीने में ही निर्णय आ गया कि ये कर देना चाहिए, तो हो भी जाते हैं कुछ रिफॉर्म्स।
थैंक यू सर।
सर नमस्ते, मेरा नाम सचिन है। सर जैसे फ्री बीज तो सर कहीं ना कहीं फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन को सर अफेक्ट करती है, तो सर इसके लिए इलेक्शन कमिश्नर से कुछ सर गाइडलाइंस या ऐसा कुछ जारी की जा सकती है जिससे कि फ्री वाइज वाली जो सिस्टम है सर उसको कहीं ना कहीं कम किया जा सके और फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन को सर आगे कंटिन्यू किया जा सके?
फ्री बीज की आप बात कर रहे हैं, तो फ्री बीज के लिए तो इलेक्शन कमीशन ने बहुत बड़े स्टेप्स लिए हैं। सर्वेलेंस टीम्स हैं, फ्लाइंग स्क्वाड्स हैं, पकड़ धकड़ का इतना ज़्यादा वो है कि पकड़ में आ जाता है, वो करोड़ों रुपए पकड़ा जाता है, वो सब है। लेकिन जैसे मैंने कहा कि इलेक्शन ने रिप्लेस किया है बैटल्स एंड वॉर्स को। इवन ओलंपिक खेलों में भी लोग मेडल जीतने के लिए कुछ भी करते हैं, डोपिंग भी हो जाती है, ये भी हो जाता है। तो ये तो बिल्कुल एक तरफ तख्त है, ताजो तख्त है, दूसरी तरफ डंप्स। तो करेंगे तो सब लोग हर चीज़ करेंगे, जीतने के लिए हर चीज़ करेंगे, लेकिन हमें कोशिश ये करनी है कि वो एक सिस्टम के अंदर ही रहे। वो सब प्रयास किए जाते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी बहुत होता है। और इसमें अगर लॉ बना देते हैं कोई, तो उसमें शायद रोक लग सकेगी, लेकिन वो बनाने का काम पार्लियामेंट का है।
थैंक यू सर।
नमस्ते सर। सर रिसेंट डेज में इलेक्शन कमीशन बहुत चर्चा में रहा है, चाहे वो बिहार में होने वाले स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिवीजन को लेकर हो या हमारे जो नेता प्रतिपक्ष है उनके द्वारा सो कॉल्ड वोट चोरी का आरोप भी इलेक्शन कमीशन पर लगाया गया है। तो सर इलेक्शन कमीशन को अपने एंड से क्या ऐसे स्टेप्स लेने चाहिए कि इस प्रकार की अप्रिय स्थिति न हो या इस प्रकार की कंट्रोल स्थिति न बने?
वैसे मैंने एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के उसमें आपको बताया है कि अगर आप जस्टिफाई हैं तो आप यू कैन गो टू पब्लिक। EVM कैंपेन हम लोगों ने चलाया पब्लिक में जाके, लेकिन इस बार थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है। ये सब चीज़ शुरू कहाँ से हुई, वहाँ से अगर आप देखें तो पता लग जाएगा। किसी पॉलिटिशियन ने आरोप लगाया, इलेक्शन कमीशन का कन्वेंशन ये रहा है कि कोई भी ऐसा आरोप डायरेक्ट इलेक्शन कमीशन को भेज के लगाए या अखबार में लिख दे या टीवी पे बता दे, कहीं भी कर दे। जैसे ही इलेक्शन कमीशन के नोटिस में आता था, तुरंत उसकी जांच करके शाम तक, उसी दिन शाम तक पूरे परिणाम पब्लिक डोमेन में डाल देते थे। और मैटर वहीं बंद हो जाता था। इस बार जब ये आरोप लगा तो इलेक्शन कमीशन का रेस्पॉन्स ये रहा कि ये सब बकवास है, बेकार है, और अगर वो उस पर कायम है तो वो एफिडेविट दें। नाउ दैट इज समथिंग which is creating all this. अगर आपने अपना सारा प्रशिक्षण अच्छी तरह से लिया है तो आप जानते हो कि एफिडेविट का क्या मतलब होता है। एफिडेविट का मतलब यह होता है कि अगर आपने उसमें गलत चीज़ का समावेश किया है तो सेक्शन 188 पुराने एक्ट में, अब तो जो नए एक्ट आ गए हैं, आईपीसी की जगह जो आ गया है या सीआरपीसी की जगह, तो उसके करस्पॉन्डिंग सेक्शन देखेंगे तो उसमें यह है कि उसमें गलत चीज़ का समावेश हुआ है तो देन यू कैन बी punished by 6 months imprisonment. Now that is something which is not healthy, because in election space all stakeholders, whether it is a political party or it is a voter or it is a aam nagrik or a journalist or anyone, किसी को भी कोई भी संदेह है, कोई भी डाउट है, कोई भी चीज़ है, और वो अगर उसको वॉइस करता है, वो अगर आपके सामने लाता है किसी भी माध्यम से, प्रेस के माध्यम से, टीवी के माध्यम से या शिकायत के माध्यम, इलेक्शन कमीशन तुरंत उसकी जांच करके और जांच भी हमेशा इलेक्शन कमीशन आपके प्रतिनिधि को साथ लेके करता है, ताकि आपके सामने जांच की पूरी प्रक्रिया भी ओपन रहे। जांच करके वो सारी चीज़ पब्लिक डोमेन में डाल दी, मामला वहीं खत्म हो जाता है। लेकिन वैसा नहीं हुआ और इसी कारण ये चीज़ चलती रही और चलती रही और चलती रही।
थैंक यू सर।
Is it accountable by some legislative backing?
What is accountable?
Is Election Commission of India accountable to the public criticism that is happening in the public domain?
There is no law, but Election Commission works on faith and trust. The example I have given to you that you committed a mistake, gave winning certificate to a wrong person. Even then the political party had faith in you, said no, he will return it. How do you earn that trust? By keeping everything open. Always open your doors for any complaint, every complaint, any time, every time, any number, anything. And you earn that trust from everyone. I remember that at 11:30 in the night, I got a call from a senior political leader that elections are being held in Madhya Pradesh and this is serious. And we want to come and complain. So I offered senior politician, sir, it is 11:30 in the night. If you want whole commission to hear you and take action, then I'll give you a time of 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. because I'll take that much time to wake up my colleagues, go to the commission office and organize hearing. But if you have faith in me, you are welcome to my residential office at 11:45 or 12. It is 11:30, if you can come in 15 minutes, 11:45. I'll listen to you, consult my colleagues and pass order and take action. They said, no, we are coming to your house and we'll complain. And then 13 or 14 senior politicians, all cabinet ministers, etc., came over and kept standing, because in my residential office there were only 2 chairs. They kept standing for half an hour, complained, and immediately I woke up the concerned collectors, talked to them, and dispensed redressal then and there.
So this is how you try to bridge that trust deficit in the society as a part of just election commission or in your previous service as a part of the administrator as well?
Not really, because in administration it is very difficult to maintain that. But election commission has different role. You are a referee. And you have to be available to everyone. Once a delegation wanted 180 people. Sometimes administration says no, only 2 people will come. Fair enough, right? But as election commission, we said, okay, we will come out of the commission room, because there is a commission room like cabinet room or something, where everything is done by the election commission, everyone is heard. We will come out of that room, we will go to a meeting hall, and all 180 can be accommodated there. Please come there and we will hear you. That is election commission.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. मेरा नाम शुभम वर्मा है and my question is associated with electoral bond scheme. सर ऐसा देखा गया है कि इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड स्कीम के थ्रू मेजरली रूलिंग पार्टी को ज़्यादा बेनिफिट मिलता है एंड सेकेंडली सर वेरी लॉस मेकिंग कंपनीज एंड फिल्म्स contributed significantly to the parties. Sir, I just want to know your stand on the efficiency of electoral bond scheme, sir. Please.
But that scheme has been set aside, na?
Yes, sir. Last year it has been declared unconstitutional by the Honorable Supreme Court. But sir, I just want to know your note on this.
I agree with Honorable Supreme Court and
Thank you, sir.
I respect their decision.
Sir, फ्यूचर में क्या कोई ऐसी ऑल्टरनेटिव स्कीम्स पॉसिबल हैं क्या?
Many alternatives are floating and people are working on it. Finance Ministry, Election Commission, everybody is working on it. Some things will come out. In fact, public funding or state funding. Even in USA it was tried and results were revolutionary. Because USA is different than India. We have one election commission, they have 50 election commissions. All states have different election commission and different election laws, different election technology, voting technology. Everything is different in different states. There, some states said all those candidates who do not take any money from any corporate or anybody will be funding by the state and they can have money from us. And these states where these things were offered, there 80% winning candidates were those who were publicly funded. But there was a ruling from Honorable Supreme Court of USA that you cannot do this. You are putting hurdles in the way of sort of these people voicing their thing through donations. So even that campaign got in fact closed. Otherwise, public's faith was there. All publicly funded candidates, 80% won, and that model could have really worked for all democracies. But that ruling came and it was finished.
Thank you, sir.
Please take care of your time. I have no worries. I have plenty of time.
सर जैसा कि आपने अभी चर्चा में बताया था कि इलेक्शन कमीशन द्वारा बहुत सारे सुधारात्मक कदम उठाए जाते हैं. 2009 की बात कही आपने, 2014-16 के कई उदाहरण आपने दिए और उसमें ये कहा कि ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग में अगर सर्वसम्मति से फैसला नहीं होता तो उस वजह से इलेक्शन कमीशन को वो सुधारात्मक कदम तब तक के लिए रोकने पड़ते हैं. तो सर क्या इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया जा सकता कि ऑल पार्टियों की अलग अलग विचारधारा होती है, कुछ राइट विंग लेफ्ट विंग की अलग अलग पार्टियां होती हैं, तो इसमें 2/3 मेजोरिटी या 3/4 मेजोरिटी के साथ पार्टियों की सहमति बने, उन कदमों को इलेक्शन कमीशन लागू कर पाए जो अच्छे कदम हैं? क्योंकि सर अगर ये सुधारात्मक कदम 2009 के हैं और वो 2029 में लागू होते हैं तो उनकी उतनी पर्याप्तता नहीं रह जाती उस समय तक, जो उस समय अगर वो लागू होते तो शायद और बेहतर हम अपने लोकतंत्र में योगदान दे पाते उन कदमों के साथ.
आप सही कह रहे हैं, बिल्कुल ऐसा ही मेरे भी अनुभव है. लेकिन कोई भी स्पोर्ट्स में देखें आप तो रूल्स स्पोर्ट्स की बॉडी बनाती है, रेफरी का काम सिर्फ उन रूल्स को एनफोर्स करना होता है। रेफरी कैन नॉट गो आउट ऑफ दोज रूल्स एंड इलेक्शन कमीशन इज ए रेफरी। जो भी दिया गया है वो अगर सब पार्टी नहीं मानेंगी तो वो पार्लियामेंट से रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा, कोई मतलब नहीं है।
सर इसमें पार्टियों में राष्ट्रीय मान्यता प्राप्त दल रहते हैं या राज्य स्तर के मान्यता प्राप्त दल भी रहते हैं?
पार्टियों में जनरली बोथ, राष्ट्रीय और स्टेट। सिर्फ रिकॉग्नाइज पार्टी को ही बुलाया जाता है तो ये सभी रहते हैं, लेकिन अनरिकॉग्नाइज नहीं रहते हैं।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir. You have a question? Okay.
Respected sir, Jai Hind. My name is Subham Jain. I am a provisional DSP. Sir, my question to you is that, sir, what is your take on first past the post system? Because just we have seen in 2018 election in Madhya Pradesh, the party who gets more number of votes is in opposition, and the party who just because of first past the post system is in ruling, is in rule. So, what is your take on first past the post system? Can we have any alternative of it?
Very pertinent question, and many people feel about it that many times party ruling, making government, have less number of votes than the opposition. It happens, but the other thing is proportionate representation, all those things, those are more cumbersome, and for our stage of development and literacy and attainment of a common man, I think that is serving very well. So we may have to wait for more reform on this front.
Sir, my name is Saurabh Gore. My question is, in recent times, whether to accept or not, a significant section of Indian population began to question the sanctity and functioning of election commission. So according to you, sir, what steps are needed to be taken by election commission to restore that confidence, as trust on a free and fair elections is the core basis for a proper functional democracy, sir?
Your worry is real and the kind of campaign for last 2 months has really shown that there has been a dent at the image of election commission, and it can always be sort of removed by resorting to its age-old system, which I said to the other friend here, that whenever there is a doubt expressed by any stakeholder, whether it is a voter, political party, candidate, or even the media, anyone, take it seriously, take it promptly, have a participatory inquiry investigation conducted immediately, and put all the findings in public domain as well as to the complainant. And everything will be restored, because Indian population knows that election commission is the only harbinger of hope. Everywhere, in fact, all things they want that election commission should do it. So you can restore that without any problem and within no time.
सर, मेरा सवाल है कि हाल ही में चुनाव आयोग की नियुक्ति को लेकर भी सवाल उठे थे। जो न्यायपालिका है, उनने जो 3 सदस्यीय कमेटी में न्यायपालिका, विपक्ष का नेता और प्रधानमंत्री के वो दिया था, सजेशन दिया था, लेकिन जो सरकार है उसने उसको बदल के फिर से प्रधानमंत्री, गृह मंत्री और विपक्ष का नेता कर दिया। तो आपको क्या लगता है सर कि जो चुनाव आयोग की नियुक्ति है उसमें कितना हस्तक्षेप सरकार का होना चाहिए या फिर उसको स्वतंत्र होना चाहिए? क्योंकि सर चुनाव आयोग सबसे बड़ी जो बॉडी, संविधानिक बॉडी कहलाती है, तो उसको स्वतंत्र होना चाहिए और उसके लिए उसमें एक इंडिपेंडेंट मेंबर हो जो नियुक्ति प्रक्रिया उसमें। तो सर आपका इस पर क्या विचार है?
मैं अपना विचार बताता हूँ, लेकिन फैक्ट ये है कि मैं खुद भी पूरी तरह से गवर्नमेंट द्वारा चुना गया चुनाव आयोग था, मतलब उसमें लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन भी नहीं था। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सिर्फ ये इशू रेज किया था कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा है कि जब तक पार्लियामेंट कोई कानून नहीं बनाता इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स के सिलेक्शन और अपॉइंटमेंट के लिए, तब तक सरकार करती रहेगी। और अभी इतने 70 साल से ज़्यादा हो गए, पार्लियामेंट ने अभी तक कानून नहीं बनाया। ये क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? अब हम टाइम लिमिट लगा देते हैं कि अगर अब कानून आप नहीं बनाते हो तो जब तक कानून नहीं बनता है तब तक ये कमेटी, CJI, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन और प्राइम मिनिस्टर, ये सिलेक्ट करेंगे। तब डर लगा सरकार को कि भाई अब तो कानून बना देना चाहिए, तो उन्होंने फिर कानून बना दिया, और कानून जो बनाया है उसमें पिछले अरेंजमेंट से, जिससे मैं सिलेक्ट हुआ था सरकार के द्वारा, जिसमें लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन का कोई रोल नहीं था। अब लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन है तो कम से कम थोड़ी ट्रांसपेरेंसी बढ़ी, डेवलपमेंट हुआ फ्रॉम टोटली गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल सिलेक्शन टू कमेटी वेयर लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन इज देयर। तो इम्प्रूवमेंट है, धीरे धीरे सुधार होता है, डेमोक्रेसी में सुधार होता जाएगा।
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Himanshi Bajaj, our trainee officer from 1-1 batch, to deliver a vote of thanks to sir. Sir.
Good morning, respected sir. On the behalf of 121st batch, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. O.P. Rawat sir, former Chief Election Commissioner of India, for his insightful and inspiring lecture. Your speech gave us a deep understanding of elections as the backbone of democracy and the challenges they face, from violence, booth capturing and muscle power, and also the misuse of freebies. You emphasized the importance of participatory democracy and active citizen engagement in strengthening our electoral system. It was a really enriching experience, sir, and also I also had the opportunity of working in the elections last year, 2024, and I understand leading in the largest democracy, leading such an esteemed institution must have been a very enriching experience for you and a learning experience for all the officer trainees present here today. And it's a privilege, sir, to have you here on this platform today, because we as officer trainee, young minds who are aspiring to be working in the future as good election officers also, and it's so much learning from you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything.
Thank you.